This is Nathan Peters. I'm a developer at Innovia Consulting. And in this video, I'm going to be going over some very high-level visuals that can hopefully help with the branching and merging process that we may use for AL development and source control. After that, I'm going to go through a few commands that we can use in VS Code to accomplish this branching and merging. So what I'm sharing on the screen is just a very simplistic visual that I'll go through. This is related to a SaaS implementation. We have on the left, you have the environments, the production, sandbox tests, and sandbox dev environments. In the middle, we have our branches that we'll be using to control where we publish things and as a source control. They are the main branch or master, the sandbox test branch, and the sandbox dev branch. They correlate to their relative environment. So sandbox dev branch will always be used to deploy to the sandbox dev environment. The sandbox test branch will always be used to deploy to the sandbox test environment. The main branch will always be used to deploy to the production environment. When we do get a request for a new modification, we are going to create a brand new branch, and we're just going to call it a new mod branch. That always is created from the main branch. So what we'll do if we get the mod that we have to do, we're going to copy this. And we have our branch, which is a copy of the main branch. And we're just going to call this new mod branch. Okay. Whatever changes these are, this is our new mod that we're going to make, that we're going to try to get pushed all the way up through production. So we make our change, whatever it is. And once we're done with the change and we're ready to test our change ourselves, we're going to merge that into the sandbox dev branch. Once that gets merged in, we're going to push that up to DevOps, do a build on it to create a new app file, and we're going to upload that app file to our sandbox dev environment. Then we can test that in that environment, and if everything looks good, we're going to then want to move it for our application consultant to test it. So we take that new mod branch, the changes there, and we merge that into the sandbox test branch. Once there, we're going to do a build on that merge process. Once the merge is done, we're going to do a build. We're going to upload that into the sandbox test environment and send that off to the application consultant or customer, have them test the change. If something's wrong, we spelled something wrong or whatever the case may be, they want a little addition to it. We're going to drop that new mod branch down. We're going to make our changes here. So we made a new change here. So now we're going to merge that into the sandbox dev branch. We're then going to create our app file from the sandbox dev branch and upload that to sandbox dev environment. Test our change. Everything looks good. We're then going to come back up here. We're going to merge our new mod branch with the new change into the sandbox test branch. Now, the only really change there is that new change that we did, but we're merging that into the sandbox test branch. Do a build, and we're going to create the sandbox test, upload it to sandbox test environment. Send that off to be tested. Everything looks good, and they want it into production. We're going to take our new mod branch. We're going to merge that into the main branch. We're then going to do our build after we're done with the merge process, do our build, and upload that into production. Once it's in production, we can then delete our new mod branch because it's been through all the environments it's done. And simply just delete and we're good to go. If there is a change that we have to make after we get it to production, we can just create a new mod branch from main because it's already in main. There's no, all good to go. All right. So you have to spell something different or something, you're gonna take a copy of that, create the branch, new mod 2 branch, and continue. It's like a new mod. So that's just a high level, quick, simplistic visual of it. Always create your mod branch from the main branch, and always merge from your mod branch into the relative other branches. So you're going to merge the mod into dev, into test, and into main branches. You never merge the sandbox dev branch into the sandbox test environment or into main. It's always from your mod branch. Okay. All right. Now I am going to show you the same kind of process, but with the Visual Studio Code process. So just give me a second to share the right screen. And there we go. So now here is our extension. And it was a simple training extension we had when we first kind of started AL development a while ago. But let's say we have to make a quick change to something. We have to put a tooltip here in the page extension of the vendor card. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new branch. And we're going to call it add tooltip. Okay. And then we got to pick out what are we going to branch it from. And again, it's always from main, or in this case, master. And there we go. If you look down the bottom left, we're in that add tooltip branch. We can create our tooltip. Got our change, and we're good to go. So now we're gonna check this in and publish it up to DevOps, or sync it up there, publish the branch. So this change is now up in DevOps. So if another developer has to come along, they can do a pull, or they can go to my branch and get it if they need it. This is more relevant once we get to the other branches. So it's up there now. So now we're going to check out to the sandbox dev environment. Okay, so we're in sandbox dev. We're going to do a pull to get the latest version of sandbox dev to make sure we're good to go there. Once the pull is good to go and we're up to date on our logic, our files, we can do a merge branch, and we're going to merge our tooltip, our add tooltip branch into the sandbox dev branch. The only one I'm concerned with is this one right now. So let's just probably some cleanup I have to do on this, but it's relatively old. So we have the change there. So we're gonna check this in. We're gonna sync those changes up to DevOps. And here's where it becomes relevant, because another developer might be developing in Sandbox Dev or wanting to get the latest for Sandbox Dev for his merge in. So now he can do a pull in Sandbox Dev and he will have the latest changes I just did. So the next thing we have to do is our changes there. So we're just going to increase the version here, do a build. Our package is created. We can now upload this app file to our Sandbox Dev environment. I'm going to push these changes up as well to the DevOps, just so that they have the latest and greatest of the app file and app JSON, so they know what version to move it to. Okay, so now it's been uploaded to Sandbox Dev. We test it, it's good to go. We're ready to have the AC start testing it. So we're going to check out to our Sandbox test environment. Okay, we're in Sandbox test. We're going to do a pull from, and we're going to do a pull from Sandbox test again, pull from the one that you're working in. So now we're going to have the latest and greatest there. Anybody else that did any recent pushes up there? Now we can merge our branch. Again, we're going to merge or add tooltip into this Sandbox test environment. Again, we can just accept this. And these are some cleanups I'll probably have to do. But really, all I'm concerned about is getting this change moved in. So we check that in. We're going to sync the changes up to DevOps. So we're good to go. Once that is done syncing, we're going to increase this, our version, do a build. You can do the build at the same time that after you do your merge, but then you're adding these files into the changes that you're moving in when really this is just doing a build update and getting an app file ready to move in. So we have the app file. We can upload that to the test environment. And moving this into DevOps so other developers know the latest version that it'll be on. And it's in the test environment now. So you can send it to the AC or customer, go ahead and test it. If it all looks good, let me know. Or if I got to make changes, let me know. So let's say you have to make a change. You spelled something wrong in the tooltip or something. To make the change, you now have to go back to your new mod branch, which is the add tooltip branch. And you make your change here, whatever it is. I forgot the dash, right? So we put the dash in. Then we are going to do the same process. Go into Dev, into the Sandbox Dev environment, go to Sandbox Dev branch, then Sandbox Dev environment, test it yourself, then merge your branch into Sandbox test branch, publish or upload it to the Sandbox test environment after you create the app file, and have them test it again. If it all looks good, we're going to move it to the main/master branch. So to do that, we're going to check out to, in this case, it's master. We're in master, but we got to remember to do the pull. Okay, we can do the merge. And again, we're merging our new mod branch, which is the add tooltip branch, into master. Sync that change. Increase the version, we'll do a version, do a build. Once the build is created, we can then take that app, we can upload that app file to the production environment. Right there, so I am gonna push this up to DevOps. So everybody will know what the latest version in production will be, and our change will be there. Okay, now that app file, once it's loaded in production, it's there. So now what we can do is we don't really need our branch any longer. So we can delete the branch, and you just pick the branch, and we're deleting the add tooltip branch because that is now in production. And the other thing I wanted to go over real quick are those commands that I used. It was a very small amount of commands to do this, to get the mod all the way up and through production. I really, we used the create branch from, and this is to create it from main or master. We did the checkout to, and the checkout to just moved us from throughout the different branches to get to master, sandbox dev, sandbox test, and our new mod branch. We did the pull from, which just got us the latest code in our workspace for that relative branch. We did the merge branch, so we would go to the branch we want to merge into, and then we would choose this command and then pick the branch we wanted to merge, which will always be our new mod branch. And then we use the delete branch, and that was really it to do this process. So thank you for your time, and have a great day.